Welcome to today's More Report on Friday, the 1st of July, with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Handset Markets. It's the first day of the new quarter, and markets are fairly settled, really. No real direction on equity markets. I think Forex markets are more showing a bit sort of a safer haven shift. I think you've got yen strength coming through. And also you've got other asset classes such as gold pulling higher, precious metals pulling higher, strong breakout on silver, and also Treasury yields lower as well. Let me just show you those Treasury yields. So first of all, that's the dollar, just basically consolidating, really, nothing too significant in terms of direction. But Treasury yields falling away again. 2-year Treasury down, 10-year Treasury down, again breaking lower. And that sort of comes as sort of sterling had another shift or legged lower yesterday. Sterling significant downside move yesterday, although I'll talk about it in the chart perspective. It came after Mark Carney's comments that likely to see some further monetary easing in the months ahead in the summer, and I would take that as probably August being that's the next time when the Bank of England can come up with its inflation report, which is where it gives its projections on growth and inflation. So that's the most likely time that you'll see some sort of a move on rates or quantitative easing from the Bank of England. So sterling significantly broke lower yesterday, but generally speaking, markets are fairly settled really today, apart from the fact that the yen is strengthening again, and that yen strength is coming after the inflation data from Japan, 0.4% negative. So deflation territory back in Japan, and surely it's going to put some sort of pressure on the BOJ to do action, but the market is certainly testing the BOJ with its move today back lower on dollar yen. It's PMIs day, and we had the Chinese manufacturing PMI disappointed really. I mean, the official data came bang on 50, but the Cajun data, which was the unofficial manufacturing PMI in China, that fell to 48.4 and disappointed the market there with 48.6. And what we've had since then is the European manufacturing PMIs have come out. Here you see the China data, 50 and 48.6. The European data has broadly been slightly positive, you'd argue. Very slightly positive. You saw the Eurozone, the Eurozone regional manufacturing PMI came out slightly ahead of expectations. We've got now the UK manufacturing PMI in the next few minutes. 50 is the expectation there, and the ISM data is expected to be slightly higher at 51.4, and that's at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that takes me to my chart of the day, which is the euro yen. Now, I think if you've obviously played if you'd played dollar yen to the downside, I think you would have made a lot of money in recent weeks. Same with euro yen, and I still think that euro yen is going to be playing to the downside even now, because we've had this recovery slightly in the wake of this Brexit move, unwinding some of the initial sharp weakness. But I think it's just going to be a rally that gets sold into. The momentum indicators don't show any real signs of a recovery. RSI still pretty disappointing, below 40. MACD line still falling. You could argue the stochastics is a slight bullish divergence, but I don't think it's anything really to go on. I think you'd need to see a serious improvement in the stochastics, probably above 60, to really suggest some traction in an upside recovery. And ultimately, I think this minor rebound that we've got in the last few days is going to get sold into. You see this move here on the hourly chart, whereby basically there is a pivot band, isn't there? 1530, 1545. So it's very, very basically is a pivot band, isn't it? And it's sort of rolling over, I would argue. You've got the falling RSI, MACD lines as well, stochastics. You could even argue a very slight bearish divergence with the lower highs on the RSI and the mild higher highs on the price. And generally speaking, I think if you break this sort of recovery uptrend you've got going on now, I think that would be putting pressure on certainly the support at. If I zoom in here, you can see it better. Support at 1330 area, obviously protecting 1285, which was the sort of reaction low on the 29th. So you've got this sequence of higher highs and higher lows, but as I said, momentum indicators rolling over on the hourly chart, and I think it's putting pressure on this uptrend. And I'd be sort of tempted to use these rallies as a chance to sell. So as I said, you've got the overhead resistance coming in 1485, which comes in just underneath that big resistance, which is that pivot line around 1530, 1540 area. So rallies are a chance to sell. So I wish you good luck in your trading on your end today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.